Yeah, that's a good
Well,
idea.
we'd have
Well,
to- we have to
let's,
start with the top.
yeah. Yeah, Dane. Yeah.
You don't mind being called Cindy, do you? I'll be that person.
He can put it
Here, I'm just kidding.
Cindy's going to be permanently relegated to that side table.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
there she is.
Okay.
She heard you, I'm sure.
Not that.
Looks like you have your Florida haircut there, Cindy.
Oh, it's just flat. It's not really that short.
It was pretty low volume if you,
Who owns the
Pump it up a
volume
bit.
control?
You can hear us, Cindy?
Yes, I can hear you. If you need me to speak up, let me know.
Okay.
You ready to go, Steve and Rose? Okay. This is the new Town Square EAC meeting on December 5th. Start off by taking a roll call. Sheila O'Sullivan Feeney,
present
Janet Gravanis,
here.
Joe Pinto,
Here.
Dane Shoemaker,
Here.
and Bruce Killen's here. Cindy is here remotely.
Present, yes.
Let's have a moment of silence. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag,
of the
the
United
United
States
States
of
of America,
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
And we're now on item 4, looking for a motion to consider approval of tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay.
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda for tonight, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Agenda is approved unanimously. Next, we're on item 5.1. Consider approving the minutes for from the November 7th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Yes, a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from November 7th, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Approved unanimously. Item number under new business is discussion and possible action on the Delaware County Christian School land development application. I took a look at it and I didn't see anything that was out of variance, right? I mean, they're just looking for,
So they're doing most of their work is interior or going up another story. And so when you look at it, you don't see much. There's 2 small areas, well, 3 actually, that they're encompassing into the building that are currently outside patios. Basically, there might be a very small amount of a yard space. I'm going to call it yard space because it's a courtyard that they have around the buildings that they're doing. I've been out, I've walked the project with them. there's not a whole lot of change actually that most people are going to see other than the fact that they're going up.
Sure.
And so the impact, they'll be hit harder because they're going to be taking out impervious coverage and putting back impervious coverage, which means they have to do stormwater to meet that. So they're actually being hit harder in that they already had impervious coverage and they're going to have to make up for impervious coverage they're putting back. And so I don't think if they're taking out any trees, it's one or two very small trees that are in their courtyard, which they would replant. I don't even think they're doing that, if I recall right. So it will make a big difference for them with their school, but it's not a major, I don't think a major environmental impact in where they are.
Have they requested any variance?
I don't think they need any variance. The only thing may be, if they were at their limit for impervious, they will, and they may need to just verify, they may have to go back and do because they're going back and putting it back in. We start from zero when you take it out most of the time if it was just a patio. So.
Does anybody else have any comments on this project?
If you get a chance to look at it, it's actually a pretty nice project.
Okay.
We're getting ready to do.
There's no height restriction for a development, and it's only one story, but.
Well, no, it will be a two-story. It's a two-story building, and it's probably like 2.5 story with what they're doing with their. I think it's their library area, and so. It has to meet all the requirements of they're in I think they're in R2. They may be R1, but I think they're R2. They have to meet all the height requirements there, or they have to get a variance for that.
Okay.
I don't recall them needing a variance.
Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, we'll move on to 6.2, which could take a little time. I kind of wanted to make it interactive, and just as an introduction, do people have this spreadsheet that I sent? Rose, you printed these copies out. Thanks a lot. What this spreadsheet represents is kind of a list of things that have been started, that I'm involved in, that have been discussed. It's not all inclusive. It doesn't mean when I'm gone, you guys have to do this stuff, but I wanted to put some stuff on paper and, just leave this as tidy as I could. So I'll walk down the list and we'll do some, we can comment collectively as I go down it. Item 1 is the 2023 budget. What I will do is send out what the budget request was, so all of you have, a perspective of how that looks. Second one is, we had talked last meeting about a standard template for development comments. Cindy, you still here?
Yes, I am.
I think you were tasked to do that.
Yes.
Have you done it, or are you going to get to it at some point, and do you need input from us?
I have not done it. I do intend to do it. And I have to say, I was very inspired and motivated by the arborist's letter that that he sent regarding the Delaware County Christian School, because I thought that was a great example of a format that we could emulate, where the body of the comment letter is exactly what you said. It's a template. And then he can just very quickly put in comments. So I think that's a great idea. And I think it will really facilitate us commenting more quickly and consistently and with less effort.
Okay. Who can we, I'm straining to hear this.
I think she's all the way up, isn't she?
Cindy, can you get closer to your mic, because we're having a hard time hearing you?
I am on.
There you go.
Is that better? Okay.
That's better.
Good. Do you want me to repeat myself?
No,
We're okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Just
gonna leave
keep it
that
out
with
there
you.
close.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that with you, Cindy. Item 2. That's
Yep.
your thing to get to it when you can.
Okay.
Item 3 is the responsibility for creating minutes going forward, and that belongs to the elected secretary. And we don't know who that will be, but when that election occurs, that person will assume responsibility for that. I'll move on to that. I'll talk about a little bit more about that later on. Item 4 is the 2023 EAC schedule, and I see that we have a copy of that now.
Yes.
And are these oh,
So we're moving the day of the
yeah,
meeting.
to Thursday.
Yeah, and that, you know, the board is going to have to take an official action on that,
Okay,
and they haven't done that yet. They probably won't do it until January 2nd. I think it will be, maybe it's January 3rd. I have to look at is it the 3rd? Yes, it's January 3rd. When they have their reorg meeting, they set the dates for all the meetings for the year. So that will be done at that time.
Okay, and will the EAC have a meeting the following Thursday, or is there a break? The first,
I think there's one Thursday in between.
okay,
I
all
think
right.
you are the,
So they're the.
Well, if it's the 9th, yeah, there
second,
must be
fourth, so
yeah,
we're
there
the
must be
third.
another Thursday.
so they meet on the 3rd and whatever, I think you have 2 Thursdays.
Yeah,
We're scheduled tentatively for the 19th.
yeah,
Yes, so you would have the Thursday, the 6th and Thursday, Thursday, the 5th and Thursday, the 12th. Before the Thursday, the 19th, when you would meet.
okay,
And
So
we'll,
really-
we'll get everything out at that point. We'll,
Okay.
You know, we'll do a reminder to everybody. We'll
Uh-huh.
get it all, everything, you know, because we realize that with all of this, there's going to be, we've adjusted several different committees. So
sure.
we'll do a big
Uh-huh.
blurb to everybody, you know, reminding everybody when their meetings are and that
Good.
it's a reorg meeting.
All right. Item 5 is selecting a new chair. Are you getting candidates, Steve, or applicants for the membership, the 2 openings?
I would say we probably are not getting very many. The last I heard, we had 2 applicants for all the positions.
Yeah,
And so, and that's, when I say all the positions, literally all of the committees, not just this one. Yeah, if we know people, it's important to get folks to apply.
yeah,
The board's starting to do interviews this week, next
Okay.
week.
I think that's a message to members. If you have any
Yep.
friends or contacts,
Enemies, whatever. you
yeah.
know.
That's right.
Hey, I've always said, get the folks who fight you the hardest and put them in the room with you when you're doing it. And You usually end up,
Best results.
Yeah.
That's what they could do.
makes it easy.
Mhm.
So
So-
Steve, is there like a position description or something that you have that we could share with people?
We really don't have a position, you know, the chair is the person that runs the meeting. You know, there's no specific real description.
Well, I thought maybe just a document that explains what it would
I mean,
mean
the only
to be a-
document we have is the ordinance that creates the EAC, but we don't have any document that specifically gives for the positions.
Well, I meant more if you were going to ask, if I was going to ask someone to be an EA, if they would consider to be an EAC
Cindy, can you
committee
talk
member.
louder or?
Oh, sorry.
Put your mic up.
Yeah,
I don't know
Okay.
if your mic is
Okay.
in your,
Is this better now?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
a little
better.
better, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If we were to ask
Oh.
someone to consider being a member, is there a document that describes what the responsibilities of a committee member would be? Attend meetings, do this, do that, do the other thing.
We don't have anything like that at
The
this point.
township website has descriptions on
Yeah,
every
but-
committee, right?
Yes.
So
Okay, other than that, yeah. Okay.
So we might put on issues that we're addressing
through the sustainability, because that's where a lot of our stuff is coming from.
Right.
So people might see that and say, oh, I'd like to be part of that.
Bruce, you had sent me a list too when I first joined. Here's some of the things that we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if I can dig that up.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we kind of go into our contacts and think of individuals, because I have a couple of people I've asked personally,
Oh,
and I think they're the really important people that will be able to step up. The
yeah.
application is online and kind of ask them to send in the information. I know it used to be that you have to include your resume on this new application. It doesn't say.
You don't need a resume if you do the application. We're trying to make it simple.
Simpler.
You know, we're trying to keep it really pretty simple.
So the application, you can just send forward to your friends, but it's, as I said, there's Parks and Rec is looking for it. There's multiple EACs, but it's.
There's,
important.
we need people on finance, we need people, I mean, I can go right on down the
Yep.
list. Municipal authority, I mean, it's like, you just go right on down the list. It's almost every committee has an opening.
Right. Must be a challenge now with the lack of hard copy publications to communicate these openings to the
Well,
community.
You know, we've been doing it via social media, which we thought was the way people wanted to hear things, and
Yeah.
I don't know, there's no easy way to do this.
Right.
You know, nothing beats personally asking someone to step
Yeah.
up.
No question
I think
that.
is the
Yeah.
most, especially because they're already on the edges, and you know, individuals that would have to be passionate about this, so
Uh-huh.
ask and they will.
Yeah. Well, item, as I mentioned, item 7.0 is the selection of the secretary, and that'll occur through an election in 2023. And that secretary will have minutes responsibility.
Yeah, all your officers or, you know, positions held will all be done at the reorg meeting in January.
Okay. Number 8.0 is I don't know how broadly you want to spread out who can write a requisition, but I will put together I won't been the only person that has written requisitions. So I'll write one as a template or a draft and distribute that, so it'll be easier. And how you making out, Steve, with Rich's replacement?
My hands are full.
I bet they are. I bet they are. Number 9.0, this goes towards enhancing EAC's visibility. We go to public events, and there's very little awareness that there's an EAC in our township and what we do. And I think it's important for people to know that we're here. And you know, a press release or an article in the newsletter, or it's kind of hard to get people to dig into a website, to our website, but some, you know, vehicle to tell the folks that we're out here.
I know Cindy was working on a couple of press releases that would go wider than just Newtown Square. Like the newspaper, am I correct, Cindy?
Yeah, I had sent those to Suzanne.
Yes.
And yeah, I think they didn't, maybe it wasn't clear what they were for, but I think the awareness of the EAC just will come over time through consistently being out there, you know, doing consistently what we've been doing. For example, for a couple years, we had a table at the Colonial Days in June. We had a table at one of the events at Garrett Williamson for a couple years. We had tables at the farmers market. I think just consistently doing those whenever we can helps. I think sending out press releases and articles in not only the township publications, but the other publications, like whatever they're called, the Delaware County Daily Times, things like that, putting things on the patch. It's just, it takes a continual effort in multiple channels over a period of time, because there's so many different communication vehicles now, and people have different preferences. It's just something that has to be built over time, I think.
I
So
work-
can you pick up your microphone again?
Oh,
So
yeah,
the,
I'm sorry. I turned it
newest
down because
newsletter is going to have an article about stormwater. And I wondered whether or not you were going to put, or they're focusing on stormwater, I think.
Yes, we are.
Right, and so if that was something that you probably could do off the top of your head. Cindy, were you aware that that was the topic for this coming winters, or I think it's the 12th when it has to be submitted by?
yes, I think it was due today, wasn't it?
Next week, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
next week?
Yeah, next
Yep.
week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it only stormwater related?
It doesn't
Content.
have to be only stormwater. We're giving priority to stormwater articles. We're probably going to do stormwater articles all 4 publications next year. But this particular real issue, we're focusing heavy on that. But if you have something else that needs to get out, we want to get the information out. So.
Yeah.
And
I know Newtown Square in Bloom is going to be doing a wrap up of things that have happened in our community. And I was speaking with Janet Elliott today. And so she wanted information about Birdtown. I think we can also include EAC, because we all kind of work under one canopy, I'll say it, rather than an umbrella, one canopy. And so, and she was going to put this information not only on Newtown Square and Bloom's website, but also to send it to Delco Times.
Okay.
so, Steve, if, given that the theme of the next issue will be stormwater, and that there may be other articles about stormwater, who can I work with to make sure that the topic I address in my article is complementary rather than repetitive?
Steve Bradley.
Okay. I'll reach out to him.
Okay. I know that the township articles focusing on like history and issues that have been going, I mean, like we're going back, you know, to the 1950s, actually talking about how we did stormwater at that
Mhm.
time versus what we do today
Uh-huh.
and things like that. So, so we're looking at it from that perspective and what we plan to do.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to delve more into that over the next 3 issues after that, giving out more details and things like that. So that's how we're writing.
Will we do anything to the focus of each person's individual responsibility to manage the water on their own property as best as possible? I mean,
We'll be talking about all those over
Yeah.
time, but I mean, we're obviously anything that you guys write in that way is also helpful, but our focus is going to be pretty heavy on what has and hasn't been done community-wide.
right. Because
Right.
according to the code, you are supposed to manage all water that's on your own property.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it's not really, you're not even supposed to have much runoff.
Mhm.
yeah.
The thing about water too is, living on Darby Creek, this township really started with water. All these creeks, you're using the power that these little streams and creeks provided. And all along Paper Mill Road, they were benefiting from the Darby Creek energy that went down there. So it's we have a lot of creeks and they played an important role.
We had a lot of wetlands in this township long before where we are today. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some areas we've looked at that we could show wetlands going back, you know, 60, 70, 80 years for sure,
Uh-huh.
that were documented.
Uh-huh.
And so,
They need to be protected.
Last thing on press releases. Is there a protocol for the process I mean, the township wants to be involved in the releasing of press releases, right? So we submit something to you
Yeah, it
guys.
just needs to be labeled as a press release so that it's really clear what we want, what somebody's wanting.
Okay,
And then we have it reviewed by our communications person and then sent out.
okay.
But the point of contact is Suzanne, right?
For press releases, at this point, yes, I think we're going to change it, but yes, right now, that's who it is.
We start by sending it to her, then she takes it from there. Yep.
Number 10 is, we should, and I haven't always done it, but, submit a quarterly report, to the, supervisors. And, the minutes go a long way towards, keeping them, updated as to what we're up to. But, at some point, the EAC should assign someone to do that or do it collectively.
Would this be an in-person report?
No, it's just a documented report. You've seen them. George submits one, and there's the police department does monthly.
I would think there'd be a quarterly report, but once a year, I would want you to go and do an in-person report.
I remember doing that once.
Yeah, I try to make sure every group, at least once a year, is before the board so that they hear from the group. I try not to do them all the same night.
Yeah.
So I try to spread it out throughout the year.
Could that be something we suggest for the vice president? Because the president would be inundated with the overall vision. But the is that something the vice president should be? I know we're not voting on that till next year.
Yeah.
but It would be, I would say, not dumping everything on the chair, but might be something to consider for them.
It would be nice to know what month we would be presenting.
Guess what? If you want to pick a month right now, I'll put you on the calendar. You can have it.
Just don't make
I
it-
would probably do let you meet in January, but then have everybody select a month at that time.
Right.
There's about 10 committees. So if you do one a month or, I could do 2 a month because most meetings we have. Most months, the Board of Supervisors has 2 meetings.
Yes.
So, you've got enough meetings throughout the year that I think there's like 21 meetings a year. So good opportunities to get before them.
Item 11 has to do with file management. I don't know if you guys know, but the township has a Dropbox for various township documents. We have a section within that Dropbox. Cindy posts to it. I've done some posting. I still have some stuff in my Dropbox, which I'm going to transfer into, some appropriate folder. But you guys should be aware that we do have that Dropbox, and maybe you should kind of figure out a methodology for collectively posting like important stuff in there in selected folders. Cindy, you've been using Dropbox the most. Do you have any comments?
Not really, except it is a good place to store large files. Like I've made some PowerPoint presentations for different, presentations I've made, and those can be large, and I think it's better. I prefer not to keep them in my own Dropbox or my own computer, but it's also good to have them on there as resources. I think that properly managed, the Dropbox could be like a repository, kind of like an archive.
Cindy, we're
of-
losing you.
Okay, I don't know how to talk any louder. I think the Dropbox could be used as an archive for our minutes and other documents like that.
It might be a good place for things like templates, for example. So there's a common place to grab information we need. And I guess, Steve, I think right now on our township Dropbox, Cindy and I have authority to go in and out. And I guess it wouldn't be
We can put as many people as you want.
okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say anybody that's on the committee. can
Yeah.
have access. I don't want to,
Yeah.
I want to keep it at the commission,
Yeah.
but anybody on the commission can.
Okay. And is that Suzanne too? She's the person that set us up. Is she?
I think Suzanne's still the manager of that. Again, that's one of those things I'm going to be looking at changing, but
Okay.
right now that's who it is.
Number 12 is something we kind of talked about, but never put together. Kind of a wish list for the EAC if we were the supervisors, for example. It'd be nice to have something that we could use for the purpose of, a grant comes up and we don't want to think about what we use the grant for at the last minute. It'd be nice to have a list of possible things. So that's something for you guys to think about. Number 13 is there is a township software application that is used for producing the agendas and the minutes. Recently, I've been receiving a Word document and doing the software, but I got some training and some future person will have to get training, and Rose has been very helpful in that area.
We'll go through all that with the group once everybody's appointed next year
Okay,
and do all that.
it's pretty simple and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's very, very valuable, I think. I know when number 14, when I joined the EAC, all these things were, these organizations were thrown at me and all these references. And it took me like 6 months to get updated. So what I'll send out is a list of the links to significant, EAC or environmental sites. One of which will be a link to the EAC handbook. I meant to bring, I've got like 4 or 5 copies. I'll get them to you guys somehow. The hard
I
copy.
already have a copy of it.
The hard
but yeah,
copy?
I have
Okay.
the hard copy.
Well, but it
I think it's online.
Pardon me?
if you have hard copies, it would be great to have those to give to the new members.
It would, yeah. I'll get them to the township building. Number 16 is sustainable Newtown Square activity. We have a list that came from the Sustainable Newtown Square Initiative, and can't forget that list, and you guys be working against it and posting results.
Right, that's this one here.
That's the
Sustainable
one, yeah.
Pennsylvania, right, I
Mhm.
carried with me to every meeting.
Take it with you on the weekends too. Next is, was it 6 months or a year ago, Steve, you put together Robert's rules, or you distributed a presentation?
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was valuable.
I do that, again, for whoever's the chair and the vice chair,
Uh-huh.
once we have all the committees appointed, we'll do the same thing again and go over all of the basics of how to run a meeting and make sure everybody's on the same page. And then we'll have a separate meeting for all the secretaries.
Yeah, that was also valuable. Number 18. Oh, by the way, I have owners, but that's just a name that I know that has been involved in that before. Janet, you, the Burntown person, so I put mounting of the Birdtown signs on the.
Well, I can tell you that's already been done.
Wow.
That was done in September after I presented the signs to the supervisor.
Uh-huh.
And I think that George took the signs and I checked with him and we had 4 signs that have gone up. I know where 2 of them are for sure, probably 3. Not sure where the 4th is. And so I've taken pictures of the one that's as you come into Newtown Square there. And I've set that on to Birdtown, PA, and they have posted that on their Facebook page.
That's
Good
wonderful.
to see that, right, and we were really one of the first townships to pass the new resolution in support of Birdtown, Pennsylvania. So
That's
I'm
great.
really proud of our township
Yeah.
for that.
So of the 60 items, we got one done. Great. We got that done. The comment process, I said define the comment process.
You skipped 19,
What's that?
the tree planting master plan, number 19.
I'm sorry. We talked about a plant master plan. From our conversation, it sounds like the tree commission kind of owns that.
Right.
This is all about making comments to them, but they actually own that. And
Right. We support them.
I think it's pretty essential to get done. Okay, the
Um,
comment process. As everybody knows, we have an opportunity to make comments on development plans. And it's tight sometimes, as you know, there's limited time. But I think, going into the new year, you should review the process and just so it's an efficient way to make comments in a timely fashion.
Bruce, who would be the person best positioned to explain that to us?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Who would be the person best positioned to explain that to us? And can we schedule them for like the January or February meeting?
I'm sorry, I still couldn't hear
She's saying,
you.
who's the best person to explain that to you?
It'll probably be me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the one that explained it the first time. I'll
Exactly,
explain it again.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you revisit that, Steve, with them in 2023? Okay,
And that actually goes with number 2, which is creating the comment letter template. So
mhm.
they're kind of in conjunction with each other.
And really what drives that is the engineer's comments and where we can have the greatest impact are in those cases where there's a variance requested, right? We can't do much if they stay within the code.
I mean, I think if you focus on when there's steep slope disturbance and you focus when there's significant impervious coverage issues that are focused determining some effect on stormwater. I mean, those are the big things
Yeah.
that you can have. I could also see if you're looking at development, like maybe Ellis Preserve or a corporation suggesting, charging stations or things like that.
Yeah.
Those would be things that I could see you doing. I mean, that's the real place where I see you guys making comment and staying focused on.
Number 21, I'm kind of going fast, but because there is 60, but and you can discuss this later on. We had committee liaison assignments. You should talk about that again. Who's going to keep track of what planning's up to, zoning, etc. Temporary signs for this was on me. I'll tell you where we are. We talked about Cindy and I have a discussion about some temporary signs for the rain garden as well as the Gable Park planning. And I have the content of what we want. I have a proposal from Pegasus printing company. And what we need is final copy for them to print. And what I'll do is I'll put together just a 1-page, this is where we are with Pegasus and how we move forward. And someone, because there's multiple printings, projects that span some of our initiatives, someone in the group should be the lead on all the printing stuff that's going on.
So this is to make kind of a uniform look to all of the signage that we are going to be using throughout the township.
No.
No?
It's that's too big of an effort to get done in the next month.
Oh, well,
This is something to identify the rain garden, particularly in the wintertime, so it doesn't look like overgrown. People don't think it's overgrown weeds and that it's intentional. So these are temporary signs. There'd be kind of like those campaign signs that you see along the side of the
like
street.
leave the leaves.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and so I have worked on those,
Uh-huh.
the leaves.
Uh-huh.
And Cindy and I put in this rain garden out here, as fall approached, that we didn't cut everything down
Uh-huh.
because it's very important that you do plant for all seasons. And so there's one of the signs that was in the pop-up garden that we
Okay.
have out here.
Oh, great.
Right, and another one that should be right out here. So
Okay.
they've been languishing in my garage and they needed to be out where people could see. So
Mhm.
I'll certainly be happy to work on that.
So Bruce, it
aspect.
says you have it done, so you've already put in the content and it's been approved, all the content for the signs. You're just waiting for them to get picked up, or where are you? Because one says it's done and one says you're waiting for.
What,
quote.
what
What's the
number are we
process?
talking about?
Number 22.
Tell me 22. I actually have the quote. I have quotes for everything with the exception of Dane's printing. They have it, but they haven't gotten back to me with a number yet. This is nothing fancy. I don't know what level of approval we have to go through, but it's content we've all seen
Okay.
before.
So I mean, if it's just picking the signs up, or where are we?
We're having them printed.
Okay,
So it comes out of the EAC budget.
Yeah. Mhm. Cindy, you have comments about the temporary signs?
Yeah, I mean that. Well, I still don't understand what needs to be done. It says that you need a requisition and a purchase order. Is it that someone needs to call Pegasus and say, do it, or someone needs to get it through the township administration process?
he's saying, do you need a requisition and purchase order, or do you just need to call Pegasus? 'Cause
It's between Pegasus and us. Once we get all the quotes in place, then we would write a requisition for the project.
Why does it have to
For the
be?
purchase.
Why does it have to, why do they have to all be done together?
Why do they have to be done separately? Together, just to get it done. You know, there's nothing holding us back. We're in a position, we have all the content. And
you have the funds this year.
yeah, we have the funding this year, and it'd be nice to just get it done, with
Okay.
one requisition.
Do we have is it like a use or lose it type of thing with the funds, or?
Yes, I think so.
So
Before
we
the
got
end of the
it,
year.
yeah.
Well, Bruce, I'm really eager to get these temporary signs done. We've been trying to do this for 4 or 5 months because I know I've been languishing on the permanent signs. And I'm willing to try to take this over the finish line, but I really don't understand what the township requisition and purchase process is. So if it requires navigating that, I would require guidance, but maybe you and I could take this offline because it seems like it's a lot of details and we don't need to involve 6 people in this. I'll just say that I'll do it to get it done.
We're getting it offline, and if we can accelerate it, I understand your concern, and if necessary, we can just accelerate this one line item and have it printed.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Cindy, I can help with you because I've done this for Parks and Rec. We've gotten signs done from Harry, for
Yeah,
Pegasus, and
yeah, okay.
it's been very easy. So
Yeah,
basically, as long as the content's approved from the township, it's a go.
Great. That would be great. Thank you.
Number 23 is more permanent signs. And we have honed in on, there's actually an open purchase order for buying stands or mounting stands and putting together a laminate of the signage.
Yeah, Bruce, if I can jump in, you and I have had many conversations about this, and rather than go over all the details again, I think it would be more efficient in the interest of time if you and I just talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Because that would be most efficient.
It's a good idea.
And the same thing for the next one, the rain garden maintenance requisition.
Up to 25.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow's not good, maybe Wednesday.
Wednesday's fine. I'll send you an email and we'll set up a time.
Okay,
And then on to
Developer-
26.
Yeah, I think this is tied, it's it's tied into the comment process so that we understand, what we can comment on and have like legitimate impact in what we can comment on, which were really just suggestions. Number 27, I think this makes sense, is poor George. He gets hit up with stuff at the last minute. He gets hit up with kind of a subset of the tasks that are necessary. And when I was a factory worker guy, or a software guy, we had a maintenance system or a requisition process for the maintenance people to say, we need you to do this in 2 months, and this is what's involved. I thought that might be a good idea. You can shake that out with George and Steve going forward.
I think it just, we have to be mindful and respectful of it, that he has a schedule and we have to work with it. And I
Yeah,
think
and
all of us, you just can't drop things on his lap.
yeah. And he's got a finite capacity.
Yes.
Right? Charging stations is something Janet brought to the group. I think that's very important that we move towards promoting the installation of charging station and maybe seeking funding if it's available.
So I'm going to keep track of the webinars that I can attend that
Okay.
address the new infrastructure bill
Uh-huh.
and how the suggestion was that township should kind of have a plan already to go when the funds are released so that we can jump right in at the beginning of the line
Okay.
and be ready. So who would I then bring in or discuss with the township or before going any further than just the thought that we need to have a plan? For charging stations for the
Yeah.
township, that monies are available through the new infrastructure.
Yeah,
Bill.
but what, I'm not sure what the question was.
I mean, I want to put whatever work I put into it to be of value. So that, is there, someone that I could reach out to in terms of where the thought for charging stations should be at this point?
It would probably be myself and or
Okay.
George.
Okay, I know you will, so.
Okay.
What I might suggest is
I just wasn't, I think I missed something.
Yeah. What I might suggest is, I don't exactly know what's in a charging station plan. You may want to see what other townships have done. I'm
Right.
sure you can find one with
Right.
the web search to
Right,
just see the elements of it.
right.
Number 29, we never really, we did some work on consolidating trash collection. I think it should be revisited. We had a neighborhood party the other evening, and it was this, traffic is an issue, not traffic, but
Yes.
safety is an issue on our street. And my neighbors actually were all in agreement about, why don't we get one trash company so we don't have a trash truck on the street every day of the week. So we're going to discuss it, our 18 homes, but I think it's something that should be looked at that has both environmental benefit and I think it should have economic benefit too. So Joe's kind of up to speed on all that stuff. So
I've actually discussed it with people as well, and have gotten positive reaction.
Yeah,
From the ideas
mhm.
of it, so.
Number 30 is,
So is Joe taking ownership with that? Because I
yeah,
think the Board of Supervisors, the issue, from what I understood, is because we are a class 2 township. We didn't have the ability to make that determination, is what I was understanding.
Not for whole communities, or maybe
Right.
you're thinking of just your street. your individual streets.
Right,
We're not, I mean, this has to be shaken out, but I think our Joe and I's suggestion was that the township would somehow try to help facilitate the process. The township's not gonna have ownership
right.
for trash collection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
But I thought even limiting, I thought they weren't able to limit. Years ago, we did, and this is probably about 30 years or more,
Right, there was.
we were limited and somehow it wasn't legal, but it was done.
uh-huh.
And that was years ago, but now because we're.
I
Class
think
two
there's a
township-
little bit more leeway today than there was before. I've actually been reading the code again. I think there's a question of whether the township wants to get into that, because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as just saying,
Picking
we're-
two vendors or
yeah,
suggesting.
because, I'll give you an example. Where we are, we have trash pickup twice a week. I know people that have trash pickup once a week. I know some people, I think, that are pickup every other week. And so, based on their need. And so some people have contracts for a year. Some people have contracts that are month to month. It's not as simple as just saying the township's going to take this over. Because we have to work with all of the different issues that are out there.
Yeah.
And unless we are mandated, I don't think the Board of Supervisors is going to want to move forward with that.
Yeah.
Just comment on this, when I look at my own personal budget, I pay about $500 a year for
Yeah.
trash collection. I only pay the township 2,000 or something like that. So trash collection, I mean, it's a big expense.
It is.
Keeps going up too.
It's
Yeah,
going-
oh, yeah, it's
And
been,
it's not going down. I mean,
No.
and it wouldn't, I can tell you, I did trash collection in Phoenixville.
uh-huh,
It costs about the same for the township to do it
uh-huh,
as it does for you to go out and have a third party do it.
uh-huh.
The difference is the big win would be if we got less trucks on our streets. That I think is a big win.
And we did get a win because one company did leave Newtown Township this year in
Yeah.
the fall for trash. For individuals, residential trash service. So the good news is markets do work, and hopefully it's consolidating more and more.
I don't understand why they left, but, I know what they said. I know the reason they said why they left, but.
But
it
they're
didn't
still
make-
here for
didn't make much
recycling.
sense Because
Yeah.
from what I saw, there was plenty of customers.
Exactly.
They actually had more customers in Newtown than most of the other areas around, but they were looking at the whole region.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
And they're
Yeah.
still here for recycling.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's a whole different piece for them.
Yeah,
All right.
anyway, it's out there. Arbor Day, it's just, where do we fit? You have to figure it out tonight or
Well, does that
whatever,
go
but
to
what's the EAC's role?
Tree commission?
Well, we'll
Yeah.
work with, but see, we're required, the EAC is required to have an Arbor Day event in part of our actual, the town, I mean, it's part of our responsibilities to have an Arbor Day. So we'll
Uh-huh.
coordinate with the shade tree and have some type of Arbor Day. We will make sure we don't overstep on anyone's toes, but that's also coordinated on PHS and because there's Earth Day and Arbor Day combined.
Did
But
we have
yeah,
an Arbor Day thing though this past year?
yes, it was, but Shade Tree took ownership of it and they did it. Now, remember, they did the tree at Drexel Lodge
Giveaway.
Park, the tree
Giveaway.
giveaway with Pico coordination. They planted some trees at Drexel Lodge.
Right. But we didn't have one.
We
That's
worked with
the
them.
EAC.
Remember, we tried to do a
Right.
combined effort, but they chose to do it their way.
Right.
So all we have to do is make sure that the township has some type of official EAC event,
Yeah,
an Arbor Day event, and we'll make sure that happens. So, yeah.
it's also
I'll
a
work with them.
requirement of Tree City
Yes.
that we celebrate Arbor Day in some way. I'm just saying, what's the EAC gonna do and make sure that's clear. Activity calendar, we had talked about that too, but it'd be nice to have a calendar that says in January, we're gonna try to do this, February. April's the Arbor Day.
Right.
Et cetera. So, think about that. Number 32 is, the EAC banner. I have a quote. What the purpose of this is when we go to, public events, we've been hanging bird town signs up or, whatever. So I just wanted something that said Newtown Square Environmental Advisory Committee that we could hang on on the canopy.
And then are you, is that already, same thing with the other one?
That part of the budget.
No, what I'm saying, is that already ordered and you're ready to roll, or what?
We're ready to roll.
Okay.
I haven't written the requisition, but I have a price. And I'll put the summary stuff with Harry together.
Okay,
Number 33. I thought it would be nice. We also, when we go to these public events, we distribute, nothing wrong with Bird Town, but we distribute Bird Town stuff, Tree City. It'd be nice to distribute something that was Newtown Square specific. And it wouldn't be difficult. All we need is a header, this is EAC, this is our initiative, and whatever message we're going to try to convey, but it'd be nice to have a standard template. We had it, I worked for a big technology company. We had a standard template, and we wanted to talk about software or hardware or support or whatever. We filled that in, but it was relatively easy. Cindy, 34 is the rain garden workshop. That's still alive?
Turn up my volume. That is this, yes,
That's
Yes.
part of the Greenweaver quote.
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a spring event we're gonna do with Greenweaver to promote the use of rain gardens throughout the community and do some education.
Well, actually, it's a training for volunteers, a
Okay.
hands-on training to educate people about what's a weed, what's not a weed, what to pull, what not to pull, plant identification and hands-on for some of, I would say, our most dedicated volunteers who come out regularly, as well as other people who would like to learn about maintaining a rain garden.
do you have a tentative date for that, Cindy? Because
Yes, I do. I don't have the notes with me right now, but I do. Yep.
okay. Could you let me know, because I looked at the Earth Day is April 22nd and Arbor Day is April 28th. So I'm assuming you're going to want to do this either late March or early April.
In March. Yep. I
Okay.
already talked to him about that. We are totally avoiding April.
Next, maybe when this is done, Birdtown sign dedication. You had,
Well, I think that the meeting we had here with the
Yeah.
supervisors was basically the dedication. I was hoping to get and we did take with the supervisors, they stopped the meeting to have a photo.
yeah,
taken,
I saw the
and,
photo.
yeah.
Yeah,
it had been circulated
Uh-huh.
in many different places, so I think we're good for that.
good. Another item checked off,
Okay.
both Janets.
Good job, Janet.
I put native pop-up garden because that was a success last year, something to think about for 2023.
So I've already had a conversation with Kathy, Historical Society,
Uh-huh.
about doing a plant sale at
Uh-huh.
the West House.
Oh, nice.
Right, in conjunction with Birdtown, we'll get native plants.
Are you thinking about a garden like you did before? Or was that too much?
Well,
There's a lot of effort, I know.
one of my goals is really to have a native plant garden here on township property, if we can find the right spot that has enough sunlight. Kind of like over there, between the trees that have been planted, there's kind of a little open space, but that takes money and planning.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Are
other
you
side of the
talking
page.
March? Are you talking for this pop-up garden in March as well?
no, I'm talking about the plant sale, but, well, Kathy and I haven't set on a month or a date.
I have a Google rule set up. It says, show me all the Newtown Square internet posts that have happened during the last week. And it's handy. And the Historical Society, there's a post every week about the tavern being open. They do a
Right.
good job of it.
Yes, they do.
Number 38, I'm gonna move fast. Ongoing Birdtown
Oh,
activities,
okay,
you know
going,
what that's
going.
all about, yeah. School district activity, I think it's important to get to school. I know that the kids are getting hounded with all this stuff and it'd be good to leverage that, and I think the school district would like it too, so.
I've reached out to the teacher in charge of the Eco Club. She hasn't gotten back to me. I'll reach out again, but it had to do with planting a garden.
Okay,
And they did that tree sale last year
Yes, they did.
and see if indeed we can kind of support them in that effort.
Yes.
and you're welcome to try the private schools too in the township.
Okay.
Might be easier to public schools, but give that a try. Composting promotion, we talked about that. We had a presenter. Any way we can promote the notion without endorsing a vendor is a good thing.
Now, it brings to mind that the Haverford Township has a Friends of the EAC. And they have a lot of information on there, and they have addressed composting by having multiple companies that are posted there. And also backyard, a bin giveaway, well, not a giveaway, but a reduced price. And so these are ways, I think, of getting composting information out and giving alternatives without just supporting one particular thing. So I really would like to see if we can replicate what Haverford's doing, because they're way out there.
Yeah.
In working with sustainability.
Number 41 is just the promotion of native plants.
Right.
I had a couple landscapers come in for my property, and two of the big guys didn't want any parts of native plants.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just make the community aware that native plants are a good thing.
Absolutely essential,
Yeah,
more than good.
yeah.
Well, what we could do also in support of that is Parks and Rec usually has their spring concert around the middle of May. So if we can have some of these public outreach programs, set up a table and like you said, Birdtown, the composting
Right.
and native plants. If we can ask Parks to have a table representation at their concert.
Right.
And if we want to staff it with, will the EAC members, guys, anybody willing to step up with that too? We could kind of do that, and that'll hit our dates, and that'll be the middle of May usually.
Okay, it's a great idea.
And also they are going to reschedule that train event from scheduled October to the fall. So that's another opportunity for, we could piggyback off of that.
Mhm.
And if we ask them, do you guys want me to ask Parks to do
Yeah.
that? Do you want me to ask the train and Parks for the children's event as well? For us to have a table?
You're asking these guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'm asking Joe and
Sure,
Dave.
depends on the
Jen.
date, yeah, when
Okay.
they're doing it, yeah, sure.
Okay,
Somebody should be available.
Yep.
43 is, the reusable bag thing. I just think should be revisited at some point if you choose to, and if the community wants it. Rain garden promotion, we've talked about that. It's one of the major purposes of the effort we put in the rain garden in front of the township and up at the ball field was to encourage residents to install rain gardens. 45 is, you pick up any publication today, it tells you these are the 5 things you can do to be a responsible global citizen. And I think we should, people want to do them, they just need to be nudged. I have township newsletter article, the one now, we just talked about having to do with stormwater, and then we have another opportunity in this spring. Number 48 is Dane and I are going to hopefully get hooked up with the CEO of Dunwoody to ask them if they'd be an early adopter or an early participant in our sustainable business initiative. Those folks at Dunmany are really have really done a lot of stuff already, and they're pretty active.
Do you guys know Bill Potzik, who's on the Newtown Township Parks and Rec?
I-
Dr. Bill Potzik is great. Maybe you could
Yeah.
coordinate with him.
Is he a resident?
He's a resident
Okay.
at Dunwoody. He's been very helpful. He actually was helpful for us to get Dunwoody to sponsor our T-shirts for our Arbor Day a couple years ago. And so Bill was very helpful. So maybe I have his number. I can give
Yeah,
it to
send
you.
it on.
And if you guys can,
Yeah, be great.
yeah, because he's very good.
Next is a bunch of sustainable business stuff. We talked about the printing of the literature. I said,
I have a copy here if anyone.
okay,
Yeah.
is this, because you sent me a
everybody-
draft before, right?
Yeah.
And you're happy with
The only
What
thing
you
that
got?
I'm waiting for is a website. Well, I was working with Suzanne on getting the
A QR?
township
Oh.
website updated. And I think she might have delegated that to you, Rose. Do you know? Getting the webpage, up.
I think it's actually gonna be Steve that's updating.
Steve,
that.
okay, all right. I'm gonna talk to him about that. That's all we're waiting for this.
but this is like go-to print,
Yeah,
ready to
I mean, if
go?
no one has feedback on it.
Okay, this
uh,
is great.
Does the township need to? I mean, I think we've already approved it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been talking to Paul.
Uh-huh.
Paul's pretty fired up about this whole
Uh-huh.
thing, so.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
we talked about the lunch. It's on Thursday. I'll be at the lunch on Thursday.
Oh,
I'm
good,
doing that,
good.
But I don't think we're ready to talk about this
Uh-huh.
really per se, but we can plug it briefly. But the state of the township breakfast is something that they do every year.
Okay.
Which is kind of a state of the, I think, Steve, you participated in that with Leonard, did that last year. He invited us last year too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think that would be appropriate maybe
Uh-huh.
to talk about this a little bit. So I need to kind of finalize some stuff.
Can you put our QR code at the
That
township?
was,
Yeah.
that's the plan, yeah. And then, I'd like to put a paragraph into this coming newsletter.
Mhm.
So I plan to put that together for next week, for
Okay.
Monday. So I'll get that over to Steve. And then other than that, it's just promoting it and getting more businesses.
Mhm.
Paul's trying to get a meeting with Boron to get an early kind of adopter there and.
Right.
With the township, the supervisor is not really looking at the plastic bag ban. I think it's an opportunity to start a dialogue there. We're gonna have a survey, so we'll get the survey out to businesses. Just to get a feel for if people and businesses do want to support a plastic bag ban. And then we'll have some of that data and we can revisit that
Okay.
next year. But in the meantime, this is gonna be more of an opt-in program. So that's the plan there.
Looks
And
great.
when is the decal going to be available?
Whenever Pegasus. prints
Yeah.
it.
Oh, all right.
So,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
hopefully this month.
Yeah. So we have the literature, we've got the window stickers in the queue, business list from the township we have, I passed on to you.
Mhm.
I did ask Paul about a digital version of the member list, because we've got this. Putting email, retyping email addresses and all that would be the cumbersome process.
But he invited us to do a presentation also. for the
Okay.
General Assembly and. So,
Did he invite us to make a distribution via his email list? That would be valuable too, I think.
yeah, he could probably do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
let's see, business lunch,
Is that the December lunch, or I thought you were going to discuss it with the supervisors first and then? Isn't that what you guys?
Yeah,
said
we're
before?
not gonna discuss it at the lunch.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Thursday. So,
Right, okay,
yeah, but there's an event in January.
that you're launching it
Hopefully,
officially, and
yeah.
then will you go back to the business association with that in their spring meeting?
There'll be a time for them. to-
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I really like that you've put in park cleanups in here as an option for how businesses can get involved.
That was a suggestion, but
Yeah, that's great.
actually, yeah.
Right.
So, getting more businesses involved, maybe they can sponsor, you know,
Right.
tools or whatever, you know, so things like that.
Bruce, that's great.
Number 56 is redundant. We can just cross that that item off, because that's the plastic bag thing again, so. Number 57, Sheila brought this up originally, is we get a lot of turf grass in this township. And you know, maybe there's some people that would be interested in converting to a more natural environment. And there might be zoning issues associated with that, so that's something that should be looked at.
So one of the issues for the We Conserve PA meeting that's happening in February will be on ordinances and also meadows. So we can look to see how other townships have addressed being able to have meadow of some size in your yard and have it fit with the ordinance, because weeds are undefined. And so we need to make sure that we're not making it too difficult for people to take out turf grass and put in essential native plants because of an ordinance that hasn't been well developed.
I spent some time in Portland, Oregon. They're kind of very environmentally conscious, and
Yes.
many people have abandoned their yards. But what they've done is they have a sign out front,
Yes.
so it doesn't look like an abandoned property. And they,
Right.
I'm doing this for this purpose, so something to just consider.
And even PHS says that if it looks intentionally designed, if you have elements, let's say whimsical elements or art features, as long as it looks intentional and there's some order to it,
Mhm.
it looks like, instead of it just like you said, being somebody who's untidy.
Yeah, I think one thing that helps is a turf grass border, because that makes
Yes.
it look intentional.
Yes.
Right.
Number 58, you know, there's a zoning rewrite. You may want to take a look at, think about, giving input to that while it's happening. We talked about that last meeting. Also associated with the zoning rewrite is the ordinance for the riparian buffer zones. I think it's 50 feet. I don't think that's enough. You guys have to work that out. It is 50 feet now, I know. I'm not challenging.
I think that I can't remember the exact proposal, but I want to say it's in the proposal that it be increased, I think, to 100.
Okay,
Yeah, because there's three different numbers. The state, there's a 35, there's a state figure of 50, and then there's 100, which is recommended. So there's not consistency across the board. So
and finally, MS4, that's kind of changed a little bit, as I understand. We have a new engineer. I guess they're going to take the content, the information we put together so far and take that to the next, to the implementation step, and
They will.
okay.
has the new engineer had a chance to kind of review everything and will they be giving input into the ordinances and recommendations for the riparian buffers and all that?
I don't know that they'll be doing that specifically, but they are, we have another group that we've brought in to do that.
Perfect.
So I don't think it'll be our current engineer.
As long as it's some, yeah,
But I think that, kind of going back to your question, we have had a group look at our zoning specifically with environment in
Perfect.
mind.
And who is that group? When you say you have
It's the PEC,
the what?
Pennsylvania Environmental
Oh,
Council.
If we're done the list, I will distribute this electronically in Excel format, and you can figure out if how and what way you want to use it. It's currently sorted by program, and I defined admin, coordination, cable, and public events, etc. That's it for that.
maybe you could add somebody who's responsible for like our calendar. So not only our meetings, but let's just say there's other events, so that way we're not just throwing the dates out left and right, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make that
Right.
assignment. You guys figure
Okay.
it out.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough on here.
Yeah.
It's a good round number.
Yeah. Okay, with that, we'll move on to old business, item 7.1. We've got information here which
I would argue that you don't have any need for any action at this time. They're going back and relooking at a variety of things.
okay,
My guess is they may come back with some changes and until they do something, I don't see any need for you to make any comment.
okay. And the sawmill land development, is that the same?
For Garrett Williamson and Sawmill, that's for sure.
Okay,
Aronimink, I would have to, I don't know if I know exactly where Aronimink stands. But for Sawmill, they've got a zoning issue they have to address first. I suspect they're going to try to address that zoning issue before they move forward.
is this the property that abuts Radnor Township?
Yes.
Okay,
And I thought the Aronimink Golf Club, I thought Cindy was gonna draft our recommendations, or you were gonna send us a comment letter. Cindy, is that correct?
Yes, I think I am supposed to do that, and I will do that. I have a question or a thought, and that is, when I reflect on the discussions at our EAC meetings, I have my notes to look at, but we don't receive the minutes of that for another like 28 days. And to me, like in the business world, after I have a meeting and we take notes, I send out a meeting recap with action items the very next day. So everybody knows what they were supposed to do and can start taking action on it. I was wondering is there any way that we can do something like that? I mean, I know right now, Steve, we have the process where the minutes come out like a month later, but it would be helpful to us to have them sooner. As
Yeah, if your secretary wants to get them done sooner and send them out for everybody's review,
okay,
we're okay with that. We don't, the only thing is we can't do anything with the minutes officially until they come back before you.
right,
If you want them as a draft and your secretary gets them done the next day and sends them to everybody, that's great. I just can't have you commenting on them until the next meeting.
okay, good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't do that.
Well, I
Okay,
do understand though, for Cindy, for the Aronimink Golf Club, the planning committee is, I think, aren't they meeting like the 19th on this, or aren't they meeting? And we were supposed to have our discussion on this item and take action on this item before their meeting. And from what we understood is Aronimink already had asked previously for.
But they're not going to do anything until January now.
Okay.
That's what it says in
Okay.
here.
but you're right. That's good to know, but you're right, Sheila, there is a time element to be aware
Yeah,
of.
so what would be important would be at your meeting in January for you to be prepared to take action at that time.
Right, but if we're not meeting till January 19th,
Yeah, they won't meet until the week after that.
okay,
Okay, so then I need to get a draft out to people before the 19th, so you can review it in advance and then we'll discuss it at the meeting.
right.
Okay,
And we all have to then attend so that we can even have a quorum to vote on it.
Yeah, which is always the
Right.
case.
yeah. We're at the public comment. Did we get anything submitted? Okay, so there's no public comment. Number 9 is items for the next agenda. Obviously, it's all the reorg stuff.
Yeah, it'll be reorged and anything else that you all want specifically on it. So with Bruce stepping down, I would suggest, as Cindy's the vice chair, everything go through Cindy and get back to us. So if there's something specific, for example, the Aronimink Golf Club, we'll put that on the agenda,
Right.
knowing that you want to do that. But if there's something else specifically that you want to take action on, if you'll let us know, we can have it on your agenda. So it is a reorg meeting, but for you all, it's also your first business meeting. We do both the same night.
Right.
The reorg part will probably take 10 minutes. You know, you'll select a chair, you'll select a vice chair, you'll select your secretary, and off we'll go to the races. So.
Well, then can we add on a calendar? Everyone bring their suggested dates for the calendar so as to have a chance to work on what, because we are starting off middle of January at this point,
Mhm.
and believe it or not, spring is coming. So Cindy, if you have your rain dates and your, coordinating events you have, I'll try to reach out to the Shade Tree to see if they have a tentative date. I'll coordinate with PHS to see what their dates are, the tree sale. And just so we have a guideline going into the year, because, it's,
Goes by quickly.
yes.
Yeah, no, that's great to think ahead.
One part of the job description for the new chairman is to finish meetings by 6:30. And we're gonna do that tonight, so.
See, we're not letting you out, Brooks. We're keeping you forever. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Let me just say this, it's been a good run for me. I wanted to do this because certainly I care about the environment. I also wanted to work with smart, enthusiastic people. I got that. I wanted to feel like I was making a contribution to the township, and I wanted to make contribute to making the world a better place for my granddaughter. So
Awesome.
all that happened. Sheila, I wish I had 1/10 of the energy that you had. You've been great. And Janet, you really get it done. I remember you joined, and the reason you joined is you were concerned about the monarch butterfly. It's got much bigger than that, hasn't it? So, and you guys shoot with kids and finding time to make it to these meetings. I think that's absolutely incredible.
I'm getting out
So-
of bedtime.
And and you volunteer. So it's been wonderful. I appreciate it. And Cindy, your capacity just amazes me, all the stuff you get done and how efficiently you do so. So thank you, everybody.
Bruce, we're gonna miss
We
you.
wanted to thank you,
Yes.
our committee,
Uh,
in honor of you, Bruce,
Uh-huh.
for your steadfast leadership on the Newtown Township Environmental Advisory Council, moving us toward a more sustainable future. The members of the EAC have made a donation to Newtown Square and Bloom in
Wonderful.
your honor
Oh, thank
Right.
you.
And
That's
they're
very
both-
nice.
on the website,
Great.
and we really appreciate you
Okay.
keeping us in line and doing all those things that you've done behind the scenes
Uh-huh.
that we know you spent hours on.
Uh-huh.
Really
Uh,
appreciate that.
So we have your number and your email.
I'm
So
around.
don't think you're off the hook, buddy. Let me just tell you.
I still owe some stuff too.
Planning day already. You're gonna be digging holes.
Yeah, that will still come out as a volunteer to help.
Yeah.
right?
First associate member.
Yeah.
And if I could chime in and say that I totally agree with everything that Janet just said. And I also want to thank you, Bruce, for your leadership over the past several years. And I prepared a couple comments and they sound almost the same as Janet's. I wanted to thank you for having a steady hand at the helm and guiding us both as a group and also supporting us as individuals. There were many times you would reach out one-on-one to check in on us and offer support. And I think that that's great and helped keep things moving ahead and make us felt supported, motivated, recognized. And also I realized that you did a lot of work behind the scenes, tending to the business of the EAC. And under your leadership, during your leadership, the EAC, I think, has really advanced in its, I would say, professionalism and adopting more consistency, more rigor, becoming more official. And through it all, you really demonstrated a genuine concern for each of us as individuals, and as you said, for our community and for the environment that we all share. So I think on behalf of all of us, we just really want to thank you and wish you all the best as you enjoy retirement and time with your little granddaughter.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Gonna bring a tear tomorrow. Well, with that, I'll adjourn the meeting at 6:30. Thanks a lot.
Mhm.
Don't worry, Bruce, you're already down on my list of calling for help.
I may change my phone number.
Yeah, but we know your tax where you live. So
So we would like to get a picture of the committee with you. Because
Okay.
Newtown Square Bloom is gonna post it on there.
Wonderful.
Well, we do wait, oh, Cindy.
Yeah, I know.
The Photoshop her in.
Yeah. Do amazing stuff.
Yeah.
First, thank you very much.
Sure, yeah. We got to know you. Yeah, very inspired by your, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
FaceTime her. Here, I'll call on the phone and to say, Cindy.
Put a picture up on the screen. There you go.
Yeah, we didn't have everybody. Yeah.
No, we're not here ready for Christmas. We're Christmas holidays. Saturday too.